I just read Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451 for the first time, and I've read some other of his books and really enjoyed them. And I avoided this one because I knew it was a high school reading requirement, and I'd seen some of my students read it and not enjoy it, and I was worried I wouldn't enjoy it and it would spoil my enjoyment of Ray Bradbury's novels. So I dodged around it, and I read Something Wicked This Way Comes, and I read Dandelion Wine, and I read a bunch of his short stories, and I watched his interviews, but I never got around to Fahrenheit 451. It seemed too mainstream, I guess, which silly me. But I saw someone wearing a Fahrenheit 451 shirt the other day, and I thought, maybe it's time, so I ordered it and I bought it, and it came to my house and I read it. And wouldn't you know that it is phenomenal. But this video isn't a pitch for Fahrenheit 451, it's just about one of the wonderful things I learned about myself and the world while reading it. So hello, welcome. This is a series called Reasons to Read, where I talk about reasons that you might have to read. We've been running this series since April of 2024. I think this is the 26th video, so if you're curious, you can go back and watch the other ones. And as I read this particular page from Ray Bradbury's book, I truthfully wrote down 4 separate brand new reasons to read that I had not considered. So they will probably make appearances later in the series. This is going to be just one of those reasons. It's taking a lot of effort for me not to just give you all 4 right now, but I find that if you give a bunch of points at once, you kind of dilute all of them. So we're going to start with just one. So a pause from Fahrenheit 451 and the YouTube series for now. And just think back in your own life. Have you ever felt ungrounded? Like you didn't know what you were standing on? You were walking around, you were going to work, but you didn't really know what substance there was underneath of that. Maybe you come home and you sit and you feel like you should be doing something really cool with your life. You try and go for a run, or you try and paint, and nothing seems to go the way that you want it. And you're not running as fast as you think you could, and you're painting, well, you don't even have paints, and you're not going to go to the store, so why bother? And you just can't shake this feeling that you should be doing something cool with your life, or something meaningful, or something that's both cool and meaningful, and you don't know what that is, and you can't figure out what it is, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up and you feel the same way. Now, I don't promise to have the answer to that in whole. I think everyone wakes up that way and feels that way sometimes, including myself, for sure. But I just want to share a little bit of an insight I had from reading this particular book. So I'm just going to read a whole passage from Fahrenheit 451 right now. I'll give you a tiny bit of context in case you haven't read the book, but this isn't going to be any sort of spoiler. So in Fahrenheit 451, it's a futuristic dystopian society, and the main character Montag is a fireman. But in this world, firemen don't put out fires, they start fires, and they burn books because books are illegal. And Montag starts the book off by having some second thoughts about what he's doing, and if book burning is a good idea, or if maybe he should consider reading. You can see why I got some great ideas about reasons to read out of this book. But this particular excerpt I'm about to read from is a character talking to Montag, and this character knows a lot more about books than Montag because, well, Montag knows essentially nothing. And this character is explaining why books are so feared and why society is scared of books and wants to burn them. And so he's going to make a couple comments here on the value of books. So hang tight, I'll read the whole passage, I'll try not to edit any of it, and then we'll talk about it a little bit afterwards. And so this character says, "So now do you see why books are hated and feared? They show the pores in the face of life. The comfortable people want only wax moon faces, poreless, hairless, expressionless. We are living in a time when flowers are trying to live on flowers, instead of growing on good rain and black loam. Even fireworks, for all their prettiness, come from the chemistry of the earth. Yet somehow we think we can grow, feeding on flowers and fireworks, without completing the cycle back to reality. Do you know the legend of Hercules and Antaeus, the giant wrestler, whose strength was incredible so long as he stood firmly on the earth? But when he was held rootless in midair by Hercules, he perished easily. If there isn't something in that legend for us today, in this city, in our time, then I am completely insane." And there's a lot to unpack there, and I love it. But the phrase that jumped out to me specifically was, we are living in a time when flowers are trying to live on flowers, instead of growing on good rain and black loam. And I don't think literature can be necessarily picked apart and defined word for word as a perfect analogy. So if the image does it for you and you don't need to explain it, that's great. I'll try and explain a little bit how it came across to me, right? He's talking about flowers and fireworks and how they're flashy, but they're not good substance. Now, I think it could be easy to then say, oh, well, you need to read books because books have substance and the other things you're watching, your TikToks or whatever, don't have substance. And I think that's not a horrible argument. But he's not condemning flowers. He's not condemning fireworks. He's saying they're wonderful. He's just saying you can't live on them. They're not what makes up your life. So for our sake, I'm going to talk today about flowers and fireworks more being highlights and big moments and the flashy end product, end result that you see at the end of the day. But don't think about social media for a moment here. Just think about, what is that picture of success you have in your mind? What is that image that pops in your head when you're thinking, man, I should be doing or living a certain way? Maybe you're playing the piano or painting or running or writing or fixing up your house or doing something really, really well. Well, that's wonderful, right? The moment that you do finish repainting your house or writing your book or sewing your Halloween costume together, the moment you decide to get married, the moment you really do hike that mountain, those are awesome moments. Those are flowers. Those are fireworks. The thing is, and you know this as well as I do, if you've lived here on Earth any time at all, flowers don't grow from other flowers. Flowers grow out of dirt, from rain, from sun, over time. Fireworks don't just come out of thin air. They come from, as Bradbury says, the chemistry of the earth. And so what does that mean for you and what does that mean for me? Just a reminder, I know you come home from work and sit and want something amazing to happen. And that's a good wish and something we need to strive for. But just mentally going through flowers and fireworks, both your own future imagined flowers and fireworks, or your past ones, or other people's flowers and fireworks, isn't a diet that will sustain you to produce more in the future. You need dirt. You need rain. You need real life, right? And the character in Fahrenheit 451 knows that and says, hey, read books because they show life. Obviously, they show a version of life that is still literature, right? It's not every actual moment of real life, but it shows you ways that you maybe wouldn't live in your own personal life when you read a book because, not every character is like you or doesn't make decisions like you. And reading isn't the only way that you can see life in a more substantial way. There's a lot of other ways, including going out and living, but it is a really wonderful way, in a very accessible way as well. So if you're coming home and you're feeling like, oh, I want to do something, I don't know what it is, I don't feel like I have anything to go off of, I would not know where to start, I've seen all these videos of people doing cool stuff and living cool lives, and I feel like I've seen enough of them that I should be able to go do something cool myself. Just remember, hey, wait, I'm looking at flowers, I'm looking at fireworks, and yes, I want that, yes, I want to make those, so I need to go find some dirt, I need to go find some rain. So what does that mean for you? I don't really know. But maybe you do. So go dig in the dirt, read the books, watch the movies, feed the birds, hang up, hang out, live, walk, and breathe. And when you've been outside a while and you gather enough of the earth's chemistry on your hands, and it's been a long day and it's nighttime now, you might just find that you can make fireworks of your own as well. Anyway, this was a little different than our usual ones. I feel like I might have gone a little off script, kind of just standing and doing this in my kitchen. Just actually tore up the whole floor. We're in a new house now. And so thinking a lot today about hard work versus glamour. And today has been not a lot of glamour. So yeah, find some dirt, man. Have a great day. See you next time.